If you've been looking for a way to replace your 12-volt socket in the dash of your Victory, or say Indian or Harley, if they still have them. I don't remember if the new ones still have them. I found a socket with 4 USB ports, 2 USB-C and 2 USB-A. We're going to install that in my Victory Cross Country or Pumpkin Spice. But first, as always, let's roll that intro. Alright, so today we're going to replace the 12-volt adapter with this 4-port USB so that I can plug in my camera and other things. What I realized with that adapter is that it has a constant draw because it has a voltage meter on it, so I ended up switching out with a different one that has a power button. You're going to need a 4mm long Allen wrench so you can reach behind the forks to get some of the bolts that are hidden. You'll need these tools to take off the speaker panels so that you don't damage the dash itself or mark up the speaker panels. It's just so it keeps everything nice and pretty. Fortunately, after taking this off here, I noticed that we have to splice some wires, and I'll talk a little about that a little bit more later. And then these items that I'm showing you, I will actually put a link into the description for you so that you can go look at them, and if you don't have them, you can go buy them yourself. Okay, so this is the speaker panel, so you need to come in from the direction lower right hand side because that's where the space is. There's no clips there. Then each one of these bolts you'll have to take off. So let's start taking things apart. This is the last one, and then we will repeat on the other side. Now it's time to take off the dash. Both sides are popped free. Just trying to get it around the handlebars and get it free. I kind of forgot to unplug the 12-volt adapter and the connections for my fog lights. Don't forget to cover your gas tank so you don't scratch it. You don't want to ruin that pretty paint of yours. Because when I pulled off the dash, the connectors for the fog lights just popped right off, so I had to do some running around and find some connectors. I went to approximately 6 stores at 8 o'clock at night. Finally found them at Walmart, the last place that of course, right? So we're going to do is strip the wires about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch so we can put the connectors on and crimp them and get them in place. This is for my fog lights. Getting cold. Alright, this mic should be good. Alright, so what we did, because the microphone died a couple times, this is the switch, the line for the switch for the fog lights. Thinking. when I pulled it off, these connectors came off, so I had to go get new ones. That was an adventure. And then these are the new wires for the new USB port in place of the 12 volts. So we got your negative and positive. And I'm gonna have to cut these, I don't know if you can see them, these off and connect this to it. I'm gonna try and leave a little bit of length there. So if I ever have to splice these back in, I can. But I ended up cutting this. These have the heat shrink built in, so about 1/8 of an inch for this, and then crimp it. So let's do the other end, and then we'll test it. I'll have to save these if I ever want to put the old one back on. So this one's the positive, the gray, and that one's the negative. So let's get these on here. Go. Let's test it. So, positive. All right, so after some debacle, got everything wired up. It's time to do some zip tying, get it all in place so to reduce the rattle, and then we can put the fairing back on. But what I ended up doing, is I needed to, what was it? Use some like 180 grit sandpaper to like remelt the hole a bit because it's threaded is slightly bigger. And then it basically screwed into place and created its own threads. And then there is a nut on the back, but I can't get it all the way in because of the way the fairing's designed. So it's not going anywhere. But I tested it and it's working. So we'll get everything back in place. And then we can test everything else out. And then I will tell the story of everything that I went through while tearing this apart at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night when we get back inside. So let's wrap some wires and get some zip ties in place so that it doesn't really rattle. So my zip ties are at my neighbor's in my back, and I don't feel like running over it. Let's wrap this all up. So I'll put all of them back in. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. There's 2 back here, and then 1 over here. These are all torqued to 36-inch pounds. You might not be able to get these to 36-inch pounds back here, just because of the way everything is. But we will get everything in place and then torque it down. That's it for that. I won't bore you with doing the other side. Check back in once it's all back together, and then we'll do a test. Make sure the fog lights still work. Make sure any more fuses aren't blown, because I did blow it twice for the accessories. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so everything's back together. Everything works. Last thing to do is put the seat bolts back in, which are torqued to 10 foot-pounds. And then we'll start it up. Whoa. Then I also bought, excuse my messy garage, it's over here on the floor. This for in the saddlebag. For this spot right here, because who really uses 12-volt stuff anymore, so that'll sit in there. And that's it. So I'll start it up, get it put back, and then I'll see you inside. All right, thanks for sticking around. I know you've been waiting for me to tell the story of everything I went through while tearing down the bike and putting it back together. Before we get into that though, what I ended up doing was I replaced the 12-volt socket with this 4-port USB so I can plug in my 360 camera and not worry about the battery dying. During the teardown, I forgot to unplug the 12-volt battery, or not battery, the 12-volt socket and the fog lights for the bike. During that though, while I was tearing out or trying to unplug the fog lights, the wire pulled right out of the connector, and at 8:30 at night I decided I needed to go find them right away. Unfortunately, all the parts stores were closed, so I ended up going to Quick Trip, Family Dollar, Pick and Save, Walgreens, Target, and I finally found them at Walmart as the last packet left, and I was very happy. I was kind of upset, but on the way home, or when I got home, I put everything back together, got the new connectors on for the fog lights, inserted the USB port that I originally bought, which was a same thing, 4-port, but it had a voltage meter on it. That was going to have a constant draw on the battery, which I didn't like. After I put everything together and tested it, I realized that I blew the accessories fuse. If you don't know where that is, it's under the right panel. It's kind of hidden. It's not actually in the fuse box. It is in that little plug. Then while trying to unplug that USB 4-port connector with the voltage meter, I didn't realize that there are little metal tabs to pull the connectors off. And I pulled a little bit, and the whole inside of the USB replacement came out. It was an aluminum housing. It wasn't sealed tight, so kind of a blessing in disguise of like showing that I needed to put something else different in. So this one has a power button, so I can turn it on and off when I want. This link to that is below in the description. It's an Amazon link. And then there's also a link in the description for your T-handle Allen wrenches, as well as the body panel removal kit. So it's those plastic pieces so you don't ding up your plastic on your bike. And they can also be used for your car when you want to use them. Once I got the fuse replaced, tested it, it worked just fine. And then the wires touched again, and I blew the fuse again. So that was fun. Good thing I bought multiple and was able to replace it pretty quick. That's the whole story. It was. You might find it funny. I find it funny now. It wasn't so funny right in the moment. That's it. Stay tuned for more shenanigans like that. Thanks for sticking around. If you haven't, or if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Hit that notification bell, and stay tuned. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the road.